Welcome into Game Day Live. I'm Joey Slattery. Glad to have you along here. It is playoff day. Programming note, Christian Aumell unable to join us today. That's okay. He will be on the call on the radio side, and I saw the comment already from Stat Guy Ty. Is Christian technically the true play-by-play voice? Because he did more games. Actually, I've done more games because we had the two sideline reporter gigs with CBC. So nice try, Stat Guy Ty, but your stats are wrong. But no, we are both the voice of the Sea Bears. He does it for CJOB, and he does a phenomenal job. And he used to do it on the stream here, and I do it on the TV side for the local games. And Cam's in the house, too, calling out Ty. Good to see you guys all along. For our viewers joining from Winnipeg Sports Talk, great to have you along as well. And it's a massive day here for Winnipeg. A lot of drama throughout the week. This was probably one of the crazier weeks in CEBL history. There's no Teddy Allen, as you probably heard, and we're not going to get too much into it today. It's been covered like crazy, but recovering after an assault in downtown Winnipeg. He is not playing today. The team made that very clear earlier this week. And obviously there's been drama right across the league, which really makes this whole playoff thing a massive toss-up. It's a short-handed Sea Bears bench going up against a Saskatoon Mamba team that is absolutely on fire. Shoot around today, pretty loose. Guys keeping things light. Confidence is pretty high, though. Like the one thing I'll say is these are all professional players. As much as they would like to have Teddy Allen, in the lineup, and as tough as it is to go the way that he is not in the lineup, and losing Jeremiah Tillman Jr. just 2 days before this big game, and before that, it was Emmanuel Acod who was gone. They have a lot of guys, that they need to step up in this game. There's really no other way to put it. This is a team that is going to need some help that is a little bit shortchanged, and it's going to be a challenge. I talked with head coach Mike Rainbow before, earlier this morning, I should say, at shoot-around. Here's what he had to say about the challenges.
Yeah, I think the guys are excited. We understand the challenge. Obviously there's been a few things that unexpected wrinkles into our game plan, but we feel like, hey, everybody's got to be ready to step up, and we're looking forward to the task at hand. Without knowing what every other team is going through, it is something that you see happening from time to time, and these guys are professionals and they have to pay their bills and figure out how they're going to navigate what comes next. And certainly going through this for my first time in the roles that I'm in, learning, and I'm sure we'll do a deep dive on how to maybe prepare. I thought we did a really good job of having continuity from start to finish for the most part, outside of waiting a little longer than we anticipated for Xavier to get cleared to be in the lineup. But none of that stuff really matters tonight when the ball goes up. Tonight it's just about taking care of the details that we can control and playing our best game tonight.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is control what you can control. This has all been out of the control of the Winnipeg Sea Bears. They've been very consistent throughout the year. That's the one thing, right? Last year, there was a lot more turnaround. Simi Shitu came in later in the season, kind of felt like Xavier Moon a little bit. People are wondering, where is this guy? Is he going to play? And, that was the biggest distraction throughout the season. And then you have him make his debut against Montreal. Pardon me. Makes his debut against Montreal. Teddy goes off for 54 points. Everything's sky high. Everybody's super stoked about it and super excited, and the future looks bright. And then it was a little bit wonky after that. They lose a couple at home. They have a big win against Ottawa at home, but they've only won 2 of their last 6 games. As I said earlier, Saskatoon's coming in winners in 6 of their last 7. And they're a much different team than when they played on, I think it was July 15th. This is a team that's peaking at the right time. But obviously without Teddy, it creates a lot of uncertainty in terms of what this team is going to look like. Teddy is the offensive driver, as is Xavier Moon. Xavier Moon has been getting a ton of points in the last few games when, Teddy's been struggling. But now there is no Teddy. It's not that he's struggling, it's that he's not there. So there's going to be some adjustments here for the Sea Bears.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously there'll be some different lineups. I think, there's a world where you have 3 point guards on the floor. So if the ball's not moving in that scenario, you're probably not going to, find a way to move it. But, we do expect to see, Trey McGowan's and Xavier play a bunch together. So a little more dribble creation, and we expect the ball to move.
Yeah, that's the one thing, is you're still very heavy at guard, and they're more important than ever. There's no Jeremiah Tillman Jr. There's no one there to really have a presence down low and to save you on some of the rebounds. And, one of the things here, I wanted to bring this one up. Where is it? Cam, great point. No ball watching today. More than ever, no ball watching today. This is, there's no room for error with this, right? This has been the problem with the Sea Bears for most of the season, where they've struggled to get team rebounding at times, right? This is a team that has built itself on, the defense and, getting out in transition. And sometimes when you're playing that aggressive style, sometimes the rebounding kind of falls to the wayside. And we've seen that from time to time with this version of the Winnipeg Sea Bears. The one thing I can tell you in the last few days, being at every practice since the end of the season, is one thing that Mike Rainbow has not talked about, and I do think it's intentional, is he's not talked about the transition. So much this year we've talked about offense from defense, right? The gritty to pretty. And they were so good at it. In the last few days, that's not the emphasis. And that's not to mean that, they don't want to create from the defensive end, but it's possession now and taking care of the possession, getting the possession. The rebounding is going to be key for that against a team that is very complete in the Saskatoon Mamba, right? We've talked about Tavian Dunn-Martin. They've got Jaden Bediako, who is a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year. And I think if they had Jeremiah Tillman Jr., especially with Ben Stevens, the newcomer, this wouldn't have been an issue. I think this would have been something that they would have been able to, to get through with relative ease. I think there would have been a lot more confidence from fans and from media alike that, Winnipeg would be a heavy favorite. I don't think that Saskatoon is the favorite. I'm going to be clear with that. I just think there is no favorite right now. I think both teams understand that, they have to play. Like, they just have to play, and they have to play defense. One more clip here from, I don't think I have it. Shucks. I don't know where it went. But one of the things that Mike Rainbow was talking about earlier on was the here it is. On the type of game. Here, listen.
We've been saying that we can't just sit back and expect to score 110, and I don't think that's winning postseason basketball play. So probably somewhere around the 80s is probably a target for us. And, every basket is going to be important tonight. Doesn't matter if it's in the first quarter or in target time.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a grindy game. It's also very fun basketball when it gets like this. And guys are going to have to step up. So I know some people were asking, I'm going to get out in front of this because a lot of people thought there might only be 9 guys in the rotation today. But there are 11 because Kato Haro, who's not only dressed for one game, let alone played, he hasn't played in any. He's the star standout guard for the Winnipeg Westmen, plays with Mike Rainbow during the winters at the University of Winnipeg, half court set. So, Tavian Dunn-Martin slowing him down is going to be key, but that's not the only key. We got to see some better performances from, many people. One of those people, because we were talking about the bigs, Kyler Filowich, talked to media today and was a little upfront with the frustration that he's had this year, but it could be a massive opportunity for him. Here's a clip from Kyler.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, I know I'm a level of player I can play more, but, coaches think that's what's right. We got to go with it. So, like I said, I'll just try to be ready when my numbers come.
Yeah, and he said, it's not in the clip, but he said he's not using this as motivation, right? Like the unhappiness that he's had with his playing time. He just wants to go out there and play his game, right? These are all professionals. I don't think anybody's trying to overthink anything. I think it's a matter of just trying, to keep it as normal as possible. This is a team, and I want to see if I have this one lined up because DJ Burns. First off, you would never guess that there's any animosity or adversity in the CEBL right now when you're talking to DJ Burns. He is an infectiously positive player who is very emotional. But, we were talking with him today, and he's like, a kid on Christmas Eve, right? Just couldn't wait to get out there, couldn't wait to play. But like he said, I'm just going out there to play my game. I don't have to do anything more. I just have to go and make sure I'm making the shots that I get. But he talked about this team dynamic and how special it is. This is a guy who's played pro and has played at the highest collegiate levels. And he says, from the time he's come in, he's realized that, this team is deeper than one or two players, and they're going to have to lean on that today.
Yeah, it's been a lot, we never really think of these things when you sign up for basketball, all this happening, but it's happened. It's life. I wish nothing for the best for all my teammates, especially I want, Tia to get back. But Nah, I just think we've been doing a great job having fun, enjoying each other's time. I think that's what made this team special from the beginning, is just have the connection, 1 through 10, 1 through 12, whatever guys, whoever you brought in. It was just such, even for me when I came in, it was just so easy to gel in. So I think this is one of the benefits of having a team like that, where everybody can just be so interchangeable. Yeah, we're ready, we're professionals, so this is our job.
Cam, good to see you out here. Another one from Cam here. Jelani Watson-Gale needs to come out today. Osborne too. Well, of course, we talked to Isaiah Osborne today. Isaiah Osborne is impressive in the sense that he is the epitome of poise. Like, he's never too high, he's never too low. He's a true pro. And we talked to him today about the need for him to shoot. You got to remember too, a few years ago, he was the player that hit the dagger shot to end the Seabears playoff run a couple of years ago. He's had big shots in this building, and he was asked, do you think that, or do you think of that? Can you channel that for the, quote, good guys this time? And he said he hopes to, but he understands the struggles that he's been going through.
Haven't been the best the last couple of games, but, hopefully turn it around this game and, get that first playoff win. I always feel good about it. I put in a little extra work always before we get to practice and a little bit after. So, I'm happy where it's at. I'm always confident in myself. I believe it's going to go in and, just got to go out there and do it.
It's just as I'm going through the comments. Make sure you bring your shoes to 3-point marksman Jimmy. Yeah, the suited assassin, as I like to call myself. I totally gave myself a nickname. But this is, going back to Osborne. Osborne is a guy that really needs to step up today. He come around in that Ottawa game a little bit. And again, when I say, you need him to come around, you don't need him to score 30 points. I don't even think you need 20 points. If you need him in double digits, you need him to get about 12 to 15 and at least knock down a couple threes, particularly early in the game, to kind of set that tone and take some of the pressure off Xavier Moon. This is where Xavier Moon makes his money today, and he's relishing the opportunity. I know this. Like, this is an ultimate competitor. He's been very supportive of Teddy through this whole thing. He's been vocal, in terms of how they're rallying around Teddy. And I've talked to a few guys. They've been talking to Teddy Allen, and, they want to win this for Teddy Allen. They feel Teddy Allen should be here, and he should. Teddy Allen had a phenomenal season this year. Historic. He set 2 records, all-time leading scorer in a season and all-time scorer in a game. And, he has had a phenomenal run on and off the floor. If you watch the broadcasts, you would have seen, the softer side of Teddy that doesn't often come out, and how much of a community guy he is. This is a really unfortunate situation. And sometimes these situations can galvanize teams to come together. As you heard from DJ Burns earlier, DJ Burns says that this is the type of adversity a team can rally around. They understand there's no animosity with these players leaving, Jeremiah Tillman Jr. and Emmanuel Acott. They're going to get their money. They're going to get their opportunities. This is what this is about. And I know it's frustrating for fans. I absolutely get that. But you can't lose sight of the fact that this is the team. You root for the team. The players are always going to be interchangeable, right? The Teddy Allens included. They've had great moments, but there will be a time where Teddy Allen will not be on the team or an Xavier Moon will not be on the team. We still talk about EJ Anasike, right? He hasn't played here in 3 years. But you can have these impacts that contribute to what the main thing is, and that is the teal, black, and white, right? The Seabears. And one of the things that I've enjoyed seeing, in the comments, while some people are frustrated about players leaving and I paid for my ticket and wah, you're still there to support your team. It's what they're wearing across their chest. It's the Winnipeg, right? And that's the part that there have been fans that have been coming out saying, hey, like, they might need us more than ever. Right? Get those tickets. It's going to be a good game. These are still professionals. Teddy Allen is still in the mix in terms of, he didn't quit on the team, right? If anything, maybe you need a little bit more of a backing, right? So I expect it to be a great atmosphere tonight in Winnipeg and for the fans to play a role in that. It's not easy. I get it. This one's coming from Canadian Brax. Thanks for joining the show. Got to see big numbers from Burns tonight. 100%. And I think you're going to see it. Not only that, Trey McGowan's, I anticipate, will have a big game tonight. For everybody just joining in, thanks. I'm Joey Slattery. This is Game Day Live. Like, subscribe, share it if you can. Get in the comments. I try to get through as many as I can. It's tough when I'm hosting solo, though, to keep my attention on the right things and try to showcase all these things. Andrew 17B. Thanks, Andrew. Need 110% effort from the boys tonight. And we have Adam Johnson saying one of the biggest games in Seabears history. I believe that. I said Gritty to Pretty earlier. That's, Stat Guy Ty is going to take his hits at me. And sometimes, he has his information mixed up when he's trying to use semantics against me. I can't find the comments anymore because he was saying that Christian Aumell, who unfortunately can't be here today. So if you're here to see Christian, I apologize. I'm doing my best, but I know that he'll be there tonight and he'll be great on the call. And he said that I literally added the sideline part. Still part of the call team, buddy. So it is what it is. Been to more games. Eat it. Going back to the comments here. Yeah, Cam, leave it all on the line today. Play with confidence. I think that's one thing that they're going to see. I think you're going to see the confidence. The one thing, even from yesterday to today, there seems to be okay, we've sat with it. It's a lot to absorb, and I'm empathetic to that, sympathetic to that they're still human, right? And the way that Teddy's not in the lineup could be a little bit traumatic, right? When your friend is hurt. So I think there was a little bit of a period where there might have been some settling in there, right? Sitting with the feelings, getting through it. Now it's time to play basketball, and that's what they're all paid to do. And to be fair, although I say whatever happens didn't matter as of now, it's a new season. It doesn't erase how you got here, right? And the success that you had with Teddy Allen, with Xavier Moon, with Trey Scott, who I know will be watching the game tonight. And cheering for the Seabears. He is connected to this team. He didn't want to leave voluntarily. He had to for the next opportunity. So, all of these guys that might not be in the lineup tonight, they're still there, and this is still the same team. So, Smirkio, good to see that you made it, though, guy. That's awesome. Yeah. And this is from EXO204, another day one guy. Good to see you, EXO. We will see you in CLC on the sidelines or somewhere. Joey, I usually sit behind the broadcast desk. I am calling the game tonight. It's a little weird. It's on TSN Plus, and it's on all the typical streaming stuff, but with the addition of TSN Plus. But it actually will be our local team. So it'll be myself, Dave Crook, and Tegan Rasha who will be doing the game today. So we're really excited. We don't get the opportunity ever to work a playoff game together. So this is a special night for us too, and it's a little unfortunate that there's things that are overshadowing this. But hey, man, this is going to be fun. We're excited, and I hope everybody is excited too. We got a new one that just came in. This is from Drakenator23. What's up, Drakenator? Thanks for tuning in. Let's win for Teddy tonight, shall we? And I think that is going to be the rally cry of Seabears Nation. I understand it's been a lot to go through. I really do. It's been a whirlwind in my world too. I feel like, this is this is what I was getting at with the fans. You cheer for the Seabears and everybody that's helped build it. Right. It's frustrating. I understand people are going to vent, but it doesn't make sense to put it on the team. The team doesn't have, and I'm not, trying to defend the team here, but the team doesn't have a say in this. Right. And I know people why don't they just hold them? Because at the end of the day, if you start doing that and holding players hostage, you're not going to get anybody. Right? If you want competitive teams, the way the CEBL works is there's ebbs and there are flows. There are going to be new players that come in and players that are going to go out, right? And it's a constant recruiting battle for the management team, which is Mike Rainbow, Alex Campbell, and Megan Noonan. They're constantly on the phone, as are all of their coaches and general managers, trying to see who the next guy is available, how ready they are. And in the middle of a season, trying to figure out how they're going to fit into the system, right? This is how the CEBL works. And I'd seen some things about it doesn't work in the CFL. It does work that way in the CFL. How many guys leave for NFL training opportunities, right? For a chance to make an NFL roster. There's just not as many leagues. There's one league in football that everybody aspires to, which is the NFL. And there's very few CFLers affected on a day-to-day basis. There are so many pro basketball leagues that we don't understand fully because we are in North America. We watch the NBA. The NBA is the top paying league. And yes, by default, it would be the highest level league, but the other ones, like if you put a Euro Cup team against an NBA team, they're not blowing the Euro Cup team out. And the Euro Cup team might win. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the teams that play in Europe and the caliber of basketball in Europe and the different styles of play, that's what makes the game completely different. But because of that, there's a lot of money overseas, a lot of great basketball, and you're just hoping that, these guys will want to come back and spend their summers continuing to play basketball, and people absolutely love it here. So if you want to feel responsible as a fan, go out there, be as loud as you can, because that is the best recruiting tool. DJ Burns said it today. All he could talk about was, playing in this building, right? The away teams say the same thing. I'll get to this clip right now. Going back to Teddy, and I'd asked Isaiah Fox, head coach of the Saskatoon Mamba, who has done a phenomenal job. Isaiah Fox will be a finalist, I'm sure of it, for the coach of the year. What he's been able to do from the slow start in Saskatoon to where they are now. They've won 6 of their last 7. They're gelling. Let's get to that clip first, actually, on just the team chemistry that they built and, why they are where they are.
Last 5 or 6 games, we had really good competition, really good togetherness. Our offense is somewhat flowing. And I don't know exactly what it's a credit to, but we have just a really good team bond right now. Damari added on, really helps our spacing, really helps our shooting as well. And I think his gravity has kind of helped our spacing and helped other guys get points.
Yeah, like they're playing phenomenal. The Saskatoon Mamba came in today, and they're feeling loose, as they should. Like, to be fair, this is a team that has been, absolutely on fire. They've been competitive, and when you're winning, things are going well, and you can feel that today. Today, you felt it. Like, this is a team that's confident, but they don't seem to be taking things for granted. Like, that's the other part of this. I don't feel like, I don't sit here and think to myself, this is it, that this is going to be done. Like, I think they understand that even without Teddy, there's a job to be done here. Let's listen to that, because this is the other part where I talked about, the excitement of playing here. A little bit of a longer clip. It's a little bit more than a minute 10, but just listen to Isaiah Fox. You're talking about the challenge without Teddy on the floor, and also the benefits for Saskatoon in that front, and also what it means to play.
I'm going to be honest with you. We are trying to super focus on ourselves, how we can get better, the things that we need to do offensively and defensively to be successful. In many ways, there's not much of a change. Some of the core things, we got to get back on defense. We got to protect our paint. We got to finish possessions with rebounds. Now, obviously, without Teddy, some of Winnipeg's dynamics change. Probably less sets, less usage. For Teddy and Tillman mean opportunities for other guys and a higher usage for Moon, who we haven't seen yet. So this is going to be an unbelievable atmosphere tonight. We can't take a play off. We can't expect them to have a downtrend because they don't have players here. We actually expect them to play even better with even more emotion. And it's one of those situations where every player on their team knows they're going to get an opportunity. Everyone knows they're going to get a chance to show their skills. So we expect high energy performance from Winnipeg tonight, despite them having guys down, and we got to take them extremely seriously, and that as a heavy focus on ourselves and what we need to do.
Yeah, 100%. And for those just tuning in from Winnipeg Sports Talk, welcome aboard. This is Game Day Live. I'm Joey Slattery, play-by-play voice of the Winnipeg Sea Bears, and host of this great show, getting you set up with the pregame. Christian Aumell unable to make it today, but he will be on the call tonight on 680 CJOB. But this is an exciting night. Like, even the Saskatoon Mamba are relishing the opportunity to play here in Winnipeg. And this isn't a biased statement. This has been, told to me by many people throughout the league that they all look forward to this particular game every year. Very rarely. There's only been, 3 playoff games in CLC this year in history. Maybe I can't remember if last year was in the home. I can't remember. But regardless, there's not many opportunities to play playoff basketball in Canada Life Center. The other fun thing for the opposing team, Winnipeg has never won a playoff game ever. Right? They're trying to break that streak. So there's also that little bit of chip on their shoulder, the sense that, maybe not chip on the shoulder, but confidence of, hey, this is a team that, while they play well, they don't typically play well at home in the playoffs. Like, that's when the upsets tend to happen. If you're just joining, I was talking about Isaiah Osborne. Isaiah Osborne's been struggling. He's not been shooting the ball well. He had a big shot in Canada Life Center, one of the biggest shots in the arena's history, where he shut the Seabears playoff run down, hitting the target score winner. He's not shot well in the last 4 games, but he's a guy who's confident. I'm going to replay the clip for our new viewers on the opportunity here for him to have a big game, but also just to keep focused on shooting the ball.
Haven't been the best the last couple games, but, hopefully turn it around this game and, get that first playoff win. I always feel good about it. I put in a little extra work always before we get to practice and a little bit after. So, I'm happy where it's at. I'm always confident in myself. I believe it's going to go in, and just gotta go out there and do it.
Yeah, just got to go out there and do it. There's no excuses in the playoffs. Teddy Allen's not there. There's nothing you can do about it. Jeremiah Tillman Jr. is not there. There's nothing you can do about it. Emmanuel Acott's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. Those are 3 regular starters. Hey, it's a big hill to climb. If you're just joining in, please like and subscribe. We also have a ton of other programming here on the Target Score Podcast Network, including post-game live tonight after the game, a few minutes after. I try to let you guys get home as best as possible, and we go live from Canada Life Center to break it all down. So make sure that you're subscribed, have those notifications on, and if you like it, share it. For those just coming back, obviously no Teddy. It's going to change things a little bit. Here's what Mike Rainbow had to say about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Obviously there'll be some different lineups. I think, there's a world where you have 3 point guards on the floor. So if the ball's not moving in that scenario, you're probably not going to, find a way to move it. But, we do expect to see, Trey McGowan's and Xavier play a bunch together. So a little more dribble creation, and we expect the ball to move.
Yeah, also, this is going back for the Isaiah Fox. Stat Guy Ty, I'll give you this. I saw the earlier one. What did the Fox say? That's what he said a little bit earlier. Isaiah Fox being the head coach of the Saskatoon Mamba. Seeing a lot of positives here in the comments about tonight. Wishing the Seabears well. This is a big one here tonight. Here's one from Cam. Cam is a regular viewer here. Cam, love your participation here in the chat. I'm a season 1 fan, even though I watched from the north. Then went to one game in season 2, was hooked, then got season tickets for season 3 and 4 when we moved from the north. I see you every game. Shout out Section 109. Cam, you're one of the real ones, right? You understand this. I was saying earlier to the viewers that are just tuning in, this has been the wildest, not even week, 2 days. I think it was a stretch of like maybe 24 hours of the craziest stuff we've ever seen in the CEBL. From the melee in Scarborough, where they had the bench brawls and the fights, behind the scenes in the concourse, and the suspensions that came from that, everything that happened with Teddy Allen and, the assault that led to the injuries that will not see him in the lineup tonight. It's a lot to deal with, man. It is a ton to take in, but none of it matters as of today. And as I said earlier, from the practices leading up to today, you kind of felt it a little bit. Like, guys, they're still human. They're professional basketball players. They have to put it around them, but they're still human. Today felt a little bit more normal. Like there's a job to do. Like we're going to play a basketball game. It wasn't overly intense. It was, a lot more laid back, trying to keep things light and trying to keep things in perspective that, hey, you win tonight and you play on Saturday. It's a tough turnaround. You can't be just, sulking into this. You really got to do your best to absolutely, put your best foot forward and win for the guys like Teddy Allen, who would want nothing more than to be there. That was why he came. It's an unfortunate situation that has unraveled itself for him not to play. And I know people want to put blame on guys like Jeremiah Tillman Jr. and Emmanuel Acott, but Trey Scott left earlier this year too. And I know that he was really well connected with the team and is still watching the team right now. He still feels like he's a part of the team. It's just the nature of this. It's hard to turn down the money, and the team is never going to hold someone hostage because they have to recruit year after year. It's always going to be fluid rosters, right? John McTavish, what's up, John? Good to see you back here today. With playoff roster restrictions, how could you add anyone to make up for such big losses? You can't. That's the problem. They have their development players, as I mentioned earlier. Kato Haro, who is a standout guard at the University of Winnipeg, Ramogi Naguti, who's one of the stars at the University of Manitoba. They're in. They haven't played a single minute of CEBL basketball, but if needed, they are eligible to play because of the development player rule. it's going to be tough. I mean, I don't know how you just thrust yourself in here, but there are other players that have a chance to prove themselves. Kyler Filowich is a Winnipegger, proud to play on this team. He's had a tough season. He did not hide his frustration that he's had with his playing time this year. It's gone down from a year ago, but it's a huge opportunity for him tonight, especially knowing Jeremiah Tillman Jr., one of the most elite centers this league has ever seen, is no longer with the team. So opportunity for Kyler.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Obviously, I know I'm a level of player I can play more, but coaches think that's what's right. We got to go with it. So, like I said, I'll just try to be ready when my numbers come.
And if you're just joining the show, we've talked a lot throughout the season of DJ Burns. He came in a little later in the season. He was supposed to be here earlier, but again, his winter season went a little longer, took him a little more time to get here, but he's gelled in well. If you've ever seen DJ Burns, he is a guy who is infectious with his positivity, and he's very high energy, very emotional, but all on the positive side. Talking to him today, it absolutely felt like a kid on Christmas Eve. He is excited to play, and he brought up a great point. I'm going to replay this clip for the people that are just tuning in, but going back to what I said about this team dynamic, last year I felt like it was more players that were just playing for paychecks. This year feels like they care to be playing in Winnipeg and understand that it's a privilege, if you will. Like, that seems to be the mindset, to play in an arena like Canada Life Centre in front of fans like Seabears Nation, and they want to play for each other and win this championship. And sometimes when it looks the worst, can actually bring out the best. Here's what he had to say about the chemistry they've developed.
Yeah, it's been a lot. We never really think of these things. We sign up for basketball, all this happening, but it's happened. It's life. I wish nothing for the best for all my teammates, especially I want Tia to get back. But I just think we've been doing a great job having fun. Enjoying each other's time. I think that's what made this team special from the beginning. Is just have the connection, 1 through 10, 1 through 12, whatever guys, whoever you brought in. It was just such. Even for me when I came in, it was just so easy to gel in. So I think this is one of the benefits of having a team like that, where everybody can just be so interchangeable. We're ready. We're professionals. So this is our job.
Yeah, it's hey, these are the ones that tend to bring the best out in teams. I want to bring this one up from Stat Guy Ty because it's going to set up a clip here that I want to play. If you were here from the start, I apologize if you're seeing some clips twice here, but for our new viewers, glad to have you along. Like, subscribe, and have those notifications on. Post-game show coming tonight after the game, where we will break it all down, whether it's a win or a loss, but I know you're all hoping for a win, and it might be the case. The advantage is going to be the shooting, right? This is an area that Winnipeg can be a little streaky. You're going to need Xavier Moon to have a big game. I'm not worried about that. I think that's what he relishes, is the opportunity to have, that on his shoulder. But this is a team that is a lot smaller, and Mike Rainbow talked about this, without having Teddy, how it's going to open up other opportunities, because one of the advantages could be the guard play and the ball movement, and they've got the guys to do it who are going to see a ton more playing time tonight without Teddy Allen in the lineup.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, obviously there'll be some different lineups. I think, there's a world where you have 3 point guards on the floor, so if the ball's not moving in that scenario, you're probably not going to, find a way to move it, but we do expect to see, Trey McGowan's and Xavier play a bunch together, so a little more dribble creation, and we expect the ball to move.
Yeah, the ball needs to move. Great point, Ty. Stat Guy Ty. And Mary Jane, hi. Good to see you. Welcome to Game Day Live. Glad to have you along here. And all the rest of you that have come over from Winnipeg Sports Talk, feel free to jump in the chat. It's a friendly community, friendly banter here. You got Stat Guy Ty, you've got Cam, and you've got John McTavish, XO204, all going to welcome you in here and get you engaged, get you caught up. Stat Guy Ty will answer all your questions. Guy's an encyclopedia, and he is always a huge help and friend to the show. What does Cam say? Can you give half hour after the game so I can drive back home? It's a half hour away. Honestly, I'll try. That's what I try to do. I'm trying to find that happy balance where I'm not, hanging out with the cleaning staff at Canada Life Centre. This one's going to be a weird one too. If you're new to this channel, Winnipeg is only part of the programming. We've got Target Score Brampton, Target Score Vancouver as well. They have weekly live shows, podcasts, that come out every week. They also have live post-game shows. So tonight's wild because you got Brampton that starts, I think, and Stat Guy Ty, you can correct me if I'm wrong, maybe an hour and a half before this game. So their live is going to be, and it's going to roll into ours. We're probably going to have some sort of super post-game show between the two markets, and then the late game is Vancouver, and our own Chris Wiggins is the sideline reporter on TSN and on CBC TV. So you're going to want to tune into that right after, because it's going to determine whether, well, if Winnipeg wins, whether they're going to Vancouver or if they're staying home for Saturday, and whether you got to buy those tickets. Here's there. See, Sakai Tai always has your back. Brampton is 6 o'clock Central, Scarborough 6:30, Winnipeg 7:30, and Vancouver 9 o'clock. So yeah, Chris Wiggins is going to be on the sidelines for that one, and they'll have their post-game show too. Yeah, that's a good point. The later we start, more likely we get Cannonball Chris, a.k.a. Chris Wiggins. But then again, the later we start, the less likely Seaball Sarah shows up. Well, don't count your chickens before they hatch there, Stat Guy Ty. You just never know who's going to show up on post-game live. That's the whole fun of it. Half the time, I don't know who's going to come up with it. There was... sorry, this is coming up again. Yeah, we will be on the call. Myself, Dave Crook, Tegan Rasha, the regular crew, getting our first playoff game together. And I'm stoked to be doing the play-by-play for it as well. And I use the term gritty to pretty a lot. What that means is you play gritty on defense and it leads to pretty plays on offense. And the Sea Bears have really built their identity around that for most of the season, though it might not look that way tonight. I think there's going to be a lot more gritty than pretty. It's going to be a little tough-nosed basketball. And then, Stat Guy Ty's also a little witty. Our friend Stat Guy Ty says, Joey, Dave, and Tegan. Exactly what I meant by gritty to pretty. She throws it to you guys. Yeah, well, whatever, man. I'm glad that you think I'm pretty. I don't like you having to say that about my colleagues, but you know what? It is what it is, Ty. I appreciate you being here. Very honest with that. But yes, this is a massive game. Someone called it the biggest game in Sea Bears history. It kind of feels like that. Cam was asking if Teddy's in the building tonight. I don't know. Not heard. I don't think so. I think he's got to heal up, but he will be watching. And I think, I think this is going to be a rallying point for the guys. They've talked about it throughout the week, and they're motivated. Motivation's not going to be a factor tonight. Stat Guy Ty talking about Kyler from an earlier clip. He needs to play with a chip on his shoulder for sure. It's a guy who is still trying to find his next contract in the fall, and earn playing time, whether it's here next year or somewhere else in the CEBL. It's been a tough go for Kyler Filowich, and I know it's been tough for fans who know him personally, have watched him play in high school, followed his career through Wofford. It's been a tough go for Kyler Filowich playing at home, but he has a massive role to fill. As is that guy you're seeing on the screen, Simon Hildebrand. We haven't talked a lot about him this show. Simon has to have a big game. Simon has been playing phenomenal this year. It doesn't always pop on the stat sheets. The thing that is really impressive about Simon Hildebrand is he's been a chameleon. He's been able to fill roles as they kind of present themselves. It's not really that defined in what he does. He's had games with 20 plus points, 15 plus points, and I think you need that from him tonight. DJ Burns has to have a big game, and you saw a little earlier, we had there was Trey McGowan's. There he is right beside Xavier Moon. Xavier Moon has to have a massive game. This might be the Xavier Moon game. This might be the game that we remember from Xavier Moon for years to come. If this is a win, or if they win on Saturday, if they get through this one. Xavier Moon, for people that are new to the league, that are just joining this channel, is a 3-time league MVP. He is a 2-time champion. He's seen it all. In fact, the MVP trophy, often mistakenly said it's named after him. It's not actually named after him. It's a big X. And the X is paying homage to his back-to-back-to-back league MVPs. He is up for this moment. This is nothing that is too much for Xavier Moon, right? You hope that everything aligns. You hope that he is able to, live up to that. And I think he will. I think this is exactly why you brought Xavier Moon in the first place, knowing that Teddy Allen was coming, right? And we've seen this. Teddy has not played well these last few games. Xavier Moon is the player of the month. He's played 5 games, right? He's been here a long time. He's been working with the team, but he's only played 5 games. I would not be shocked if he gives you a 30 piece tonight. Not a little bit. Trey McGowan's has to give you 12, between 10 and 15 somewhere. Isaiah Osborne, same deal. If you can get Ben Stevens to take down 6 or 7 boards, maybe give you 4 or 6 points. That would be huge. If Kyler Filowich can chip in with a couple here and there, man, this is a team that can play. And I will say this, and I've heard this from multiple people that are also, coaches in other markets, and what they've said about the whole Teddy Allen being out, right? And I also want to preface that, first thing Isaiah Fox asked is how Teddy's doing, right? Like, everybody is concerned with Teddy. No one wants to see this. No one wants that type of advantage, right? Everybody wants to play the best in the league in the highest moments, for sure. But the one thing is, Teddy takes a lot of shots. There's more shots to go around. Xavier Moon also takes a lot of shots, but you don't have to get it through Teddy. You heard a clip earlier from, Isaiah Fox saying there'll be less sets used that they normally use for Teddy and Jeremiah Tillman Jr. There's a sense of mystery here. Saskatoon has also not played Xavier Moon. None of these guys on that team, none of the coaching staff have played or seen him play live, right? They've got tape on him, but it is a new system. You know that he can score the ball. You know that he can facilitate. But everybody's going to be in. The ball is going to move around nicely today. I don't see a lot of stall ball. I don't see a lot of hero ball. That game against Vancouver, for those of you that that have watched regularly and watched that last game in Vancouver, that was awful. I mean, there's no way around it. Man, that was some of the craziest travel stories I've ever heard. With the whole WestJet strike and the weather, and how long it took to get there, having to stay overnight, getting in a hotel close to midnight, and having to get on a flight 7 o'clock the next morning to play at 2 o'clock Pacific time that afternoon. There was no way they were going to win that game, right? And if anything, it kind of concerns me going back to Vancouver if they were to win tonight and play on Saturday. But let's not get there. I want to save some content for another Game Day Live. But it exasperated whatever. It highlighted a lot of the issues that you see like throughout the season, some of the concerning trends. It was just like on steroids because they were also tired, right? They were done. It was a 17-2 run to start the game against Vancouver. They're not a 17-2 run better than the Sea Bears. That wouldn't happen under normal circumstances, okay? So I just want to say, take that Vancouver game with a grain of salt, if you even remember it after all the stuff that's happened in the league the last couple of days. But this is a team that, when they're playing well, when they're rested, as they have been, they've been at home for a while now, they're in their routine, they're playing a familiar opponent. They know what to expect. They know what's coming their way. And I expect to see, a lot more ball movement. As Mike Rainbow said, it's an opportunity for some of the guys that might not get these opportunities because of the Teddy Allens and the Jeremiah Tillman Jr.'s that are getting these feeds, right, to now showcase themselves. This game literally could be thousands of dollars for these guys. And what I mean by that is showcasing what you have under the biggest lights before you head out overseas. It could be a massive difference in your lifestyle. That's a motivation that's hard to emulate, right? It's a real motivation. And I know a lot of you are Jets fans and CFL fans. The money's not the same, as it is, and it's not as guaranteed as it is especially in the NHL. So when these guys are out there, they are showcasing for their lives and their careers, which they want to extend as long as possible. There's no other better motivator than that. So when you get these new guys coming in, especially some of the veterans that have had some time off, like the Trey McGowans of the world, right, who's been knocking on the NBA door for years now. The Isaiah Osborne's been playing great, but the DJ Burns, guy who started the year when he first got here, not playing much, not complaining, being a good bench guy on the team. The surprise comes that Trey Scott, former NBA player and starter with the Brooklyn Nets, has to go off, and he steps in and plays phenomenal because they are playing for the next year, for their next team. They're trying to draw the eyes of scouts and teams that will pay them good money to go play overseas or in the G League. And, obviously they would love to be in the NBA as well. This is from Cam. Yeah, Simon is going to need to, I don't think he needs to go off today, actually. I think he just needs to have a good, solid game. And I don't think all of it has to do with scoring. Certainly need him for rebounding, and he's been solid in that in the last part of the season, say the last 5-6 games. And defensively, this is an area where Simon has struggled from time to time. It's a lot better this year, but positionally, he's played really well here defensively. He's drawn some charges. That's the big thing for Simon. I think if he can give you the offense without sacrificing the defense, you're in good shape. John McTavish says, I think Trey goes off tonight as well. He's played sporadically the last couple of weeks. like literally played sporadically, got on the court sporadically because of that import rule. That's another silver lining with this, right? There's no more hard conversations or hard decisions for the coaching staff. Everybody on your roster is on the active roster. So for those new to the CEBL, there's an import rule. You can only have 6 on your team, and only 5 can dress for any game. So one guy has to sit out simply because they're not from Canada, right? It's similar to the CFL. There has to be a number of Canadians on the floor. It's 2 in the CEBL. Like, you need Canadian players on the rosters in the CFL, and you kind of get the best of the rest Americans, or in Jelani Watson-Gale's case, the UK. But now there's no decision. Jelani Watson-Gale knows he has to be ready. He's not sitting there wondering, oh, am I going to be the scratch this week? Trey McGowan's, who's been a stellar professional in this, who has had to sit out only because they needed to get Jelani Watson-Gale and Xavier Moon their games and their time in order to qualify to play for the playoffs. This is a big moment for him too, man. And he's had his family come out here. He's had 3 weeks with, aunts and uncles, grandparents, parents coming in. His brother Bryce plays in the NBA with New Orleans. This is a guy that wants to showcase what he has. There's no better time than now, right? And you can't think about Saturday, because there is no Saturday if you lose tonight. And that's one thing I'll say. None of the players have even hinted at anything about a run. It's very much about Saskatoon. And I think, if anything, it saves you overlooking Saskatoon when you've lost this many players. All of these players know that, nothing is guaranteed because their playing time hasn't been guaranteed. Trey McGowan's is a guy who certainly can go off, and I would love to see him go off if he can. Stat guy Ty coming in the clutch again. Teddy averages just under 21 shots a game. Moon, 16 shots. Osborne, 11. McGowan's just under 9. Remaining players are under 6.5 each. So there's minimum 21 shots to make up. I also think Xavier Moon is going to take some of those shots, but it's going to be spread out. And the one thing about Xavier Moon, if you watch the highlights of this guy, his ability to find lanes and put his teammates in scoring situations, or in situations that are going to lead to a score, the hockey assist, as they call it, does not qualify. It's not like hockey. The second pass doesn't count. And he has a few of those as well, where it's the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the basket. And he is a guy who can find really short seams and put it right in the seams, right? Like, he will find you where you want the ball. And it's funny because you watch a lot of the replays in slow motion. In fact, like in real time, it is so quick, and you have to be ready for it. And that's been a challenge, I think, if anything, for a lot of these players. John McTavish saying X is also playing his best ball handling heading into the playoffs, rather. Perfect timing considering the stuff this week. Xavier Moon is going to be motivated, over the top. Xavier Moon, you can expect a big game from him. I expect a big game from him. As I said earlier, I think this might be the game where Xavier Moon sets himself up or gives us that Xavier game. We've seen great Moon performances, but we haven't had that Moon game, right? We've had the Simon games. We've had the Teddy game of 54 points. I think tonight is going to be the milestone moment for Xavier Moon, as a Winnipeg Sea Bear. I don't think he's ever gone into the playoffs and not won a game. Certainly not in the CEBL. So this is a guy that's not accustomed to losing, is not thinking of losing, and probably doesn't care if he was the only player on the floor, would be confident that he's going to win, and reasonably confident. He's very aware of what he can do on the floor and what he needs to do off the floor. This Oh, nice. I can't really see because it's so small, but nice. Love to see it, Cam. Now I don't even notice your pick anymore, so I got to pay close attention to the handle. And perfectly put, Cam. X is like a conductor out there. He floats and leads, and the other players need to be ready for the ball and want the ball. But let's be real. Saskatoon is the hottest team, bar none, in the CEBL right now. This is a team that has been playing beyond themselves, a team that was counted out early this season, that is peaking at the right time. Everything happened at the tail end of the season. The craziness, they got through 24 games with a very consistent roster, and they didn't have much adversity other than the Trey Scott movement, which was really the biggest one. Then all of a sudden it blows up, right? So it wasn't even about peaking. Now it's just, hey, it's a whole new start, and that is what you have to take. This team is peaking right now. That man right there that you see on your screen is Tavian Dunn-Martin. He's about 5'8", and he's one of the best guards and an MVP candidate here in the CEBL. If they can slow him down, it'll be a much easier night for the Winnipeg Sea Bears. He is one of the best shooting guards I've ever seen. He is a guy that can shoot from anywhere on the floor, and he opens up the entire floor. They can stretch the floor. They've got the bigs. Bediako's a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. It's going to be tough for the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Stat guy Ty, this is awesome. He's won 2 championships, but lost to Alex Campbell in the semis in season 1. It's the only time he didn't win a championship in his 3 years with the CEBL. And this is even better. Xavier has never lost a playoff game in target time. And the Sea Bears would love to see that if he could keep that going, because it would mean the first playoff victory for the Sea Bears ever. For those that are just joining, it is a big game. There's a lot of expectations. People were very early to crown the Winnipeg Sea Bears. They have suddenly, in a lot of people's eyes, are now not the favorites in this game. A lot of people think that the new favorites are the Saskatoon Mamba. I think that it's a very even. I don't think there is a favorite. I think it's going to come down to who wants it more. Again, it's been really good. They're clicking at the right time. They've won 6 of their last 7, the Mamba, but that doesn't guarantee you anything in a single elimination game, which is tonight at 7:30. Tyler, stat guy Ty saying Trey McGowan's is a single season franchise leader in assists, second in Sea Bears history in only 1 season. The ball is going to be moving around. Xavier Moon is going to get his shots. Xavier Moon is going to hit his shots. He might miss some here and there. Might be a little bit of a slow start. We've seen that. Take a deep breath. Ride the wave with this. It is going to be a ton of fun tonight. And here's hoping that at the end of the game on Post-Game Live, have those notifications on and keep subscribing, that we will be talking about that and how the path ahead is going to unfold. That'll be a fun post-game live, because if the Sea Bears do win, we will have to keep an eye on that Vancouver game and see how that pans out, because that's the craziest thing. There's a game Saturday afternoon, but no one knows where it is or who's going to be in it. So, yeah, wish all playoff games were series like the championship. I agree with you, Cam, but unfortunately right now it's not. I'm sure they're going to revisit this, because this is a lot of chaos for Western Canadian teams, but it's... nonetheless, it is the reality, and we have a fun game tonight. The post-game show will come at you live after the game. There will be a little bit of stretch, so have your notifications on. Sit there waiting if you want. You get yourself set up. Have your phones on. You can watch on YouTube. You can watch on TV, wherever. But we will join. I will try to give you as much notice as possible. And again, get in on the chats. We'll get through as many as we can throughout that. And that'll be after the game tonight. I'm looking forward to it. The game, again, 7:30 on TSN+, CBC Gem, CBC Sports YouTube, and CEBL YouTube. I'll have the call with Dave Crook and Tegan Rasha. We will see you tonight. Have a good one.